Like many rhythm game players, I'm always on the hunt for fun new rhythm games to try. Home rhythm games have really been improving in the past few years, and with releases like DJ Max Respect and Clone Hero, it's very easy to have a comprehensive home rhythm game experience these days. Joining their ranks is the recently released Rhythm Doctor, entering early access on February 26, 2021. The game actually has some earlier origins than this release, however. The original trailer for the game has existed for quite a while, being revealed when the game passed through Steam Greenlight in 2017. The flashy gameplay shown on screen definitely drew attention, and the game also had a flash demo available for quite some time to draw interest in the game. Possibly fueled somewhat by the recent death of Flash, the early access version finally released in February, 4 years after the original demo. Rhythm Doctor is like what would happen if you made an entire game out of one Rhythm Heaven minigame. The main gimmick of Rhythm Doctor is that you have to press the spacebar on the 7th beat. You play as an intern doing remote hospital work for a treatment program involving stabilizing patients' hearts via rhythm. It actually reminds me of Oendon in a way, where you're helping people via a rhythm game. You're presented a heart monitor style UI, and the game will do its best to distract you while you're keeping track of the 7th beat, where you then press the spacebar in time. It's an extremely simple mechanic on paper, and even from the beginning of the game you'll be wondering how they'll take the mechanic in different directions. Luckily, they do a great job diversifying how you'll handle hitting the 7th beat. They'll add things like keeping track of multiple beats at the same time, or making the beat act in swing rather than standard time to make it trickier to keep track of. The game also has a segment of mechanics wherein you have to hit the immediate next beat when prompted. This is introduced in its own section of the game, and then added into later ones in combination with the 7th beat mechanic. This will challenge you a lot later down the line when having to deal with managing both the 2nd and 7th beat, especially when there's 3+ beats at once. Clearly, the developers have a strong understanding of music theory to handle making this game both playable yet challenging, and it is a very satisfying rhythmic feeling to successfully keep time with the difficult tracks. You get a rating after every track ranging from S+ to F+, with S+ being a perfect. Honestly, at least for the official songs, the score rating system felt a little too forgiving at times. It was very easy to accidentally sight read an A+ throughout almost all of the campaign day songs, which is honestly fine, it just doesn't really lend itself to the increasing difficulty throughout the game. I would say that it doesn't necessarily need to be changed, but maybe for those hardcore players out there, they could instead add a precision mode where less mistakes were allowed for a higher grade. I know more serious rhythm game players would definitely enjoy that. The game starts to get really hard around 4-2, where you're keeping track of 4 or more beats on top of dealing with visual distractions. The game has a good amount of challenge in it as you progress through what exists of the story currently. In addition to the normal stages, you're also able to play an alternate version of each mission, the night version. These are harder versions of the day stage and will provide you with some decent challenge after clearing through all the content. There's also the bosses, which are a treat in themselves. All of them are memorable and range from emotional to insane, surprising the hell out of you. My favorites are the super battle-worn Insomniac, which is the night version of the first boss, and was showcased in the original trailer, hammering you with distractions amidst irregular time, and All the Times, which is the second boss. I won't spoil the gimmick, but let's just say that I couldn't even spoil the gimmick with game capture if I tried. It took me about 2 hours of gameplay to reach the credits once, but there's a bit more content after that to keep you playing the main game a bit longer due to night missions and going for ranks. All in all, it took me about 3.5 hours to play all of the main story content and night missions through, with a little bit of time to go back and play some of them again. I was more than satisfied with the story content in the game itself, as it was a fun and surprisingly heartwarming adventure, and I'm excited to see what else they add as the game gets updated throughout early access. That said, there's more to be played in Rhythm Doctor if you're really itching for more after clearing through the game's main content. Mainly, the game has a level editor for you to create your own songs and custom levels in. Considering the game's in early access, and a big part of a lot of rhythm games' longevity these days is custom levels, I wanted to dive in and try to throw something semi-competent together before creating this video. On screen right now is the result of my labor. It took me a total of 4.5 hours to throw together a complete level with a song that was about 2 minutes long. I certainly didn't get into even half of the extent of the available gameplay features, effects, and more, and honestly I don't even think I did an amazing job with the playability of the level either. But it was a blast to put together, and if you want to give it a try, the link to it is in the description. There's an absolutely insane amount of customization and possibilities available to the creator without feeling completely unusable or confusing. By the end of creating a level, even if I couldn't make something as good as the official stuff, I could see at least how the official stuff was made, which was fascinating. And overall, it was a decently fun tool to use. As of writing, there's no tutorial for the level editor at all, just some help text and documentation, so keep that in mind if you want to dive in now and start making levels. For reference, it took me about 2 hours to get a solid workflow down, and that's not including me already knowing a little bit about synchronizing a song in a rhythm game editor. So if you don't find the idea of floundering through a level editor with no tutorial interesting, just know that a level editor tutorial is planned to be added by the time the game releases. If you're not after creating levels but are looking for more gameplay, there's already a ton of custom levels created by the community, most hosted on an external website at the moment, which I've linked below. Over 65 pages of songs are available at time of writing, so I'm sure there's already something for everyone in terms of difficulty. True to form, people are already making absolutely brutal charts, stuff I could not even get close to playing well on my first try, so there's definitely some skill potential and learning to be had if you're really digging the gimmick of Rhythm Doctor and are itching for more. And yes, there is a chart for conflict. Some of my favorite levels I've played are Nocalia's chart of Circles by Keidru, Expo's chart of their song Last Seen Online, Okami's chart of Neverland by Crywolf, and Seven's chart of Good Bounce by Ebimayo. There's an absolute ton of charts for you to try, with more being created every day, which you can find both on this site I've linked and on the Rhythm Doctor Discord. Combining this custom song experience with a decent chunk of official levels brings the game to a full, if not slightly unfinished experience, which will hopefully only improve over the course of early access. So, should you buy Rhythm Doctor? In terms of the content available, I would say that the game's current $16 price tag is justified, especially if you plan on touching the customs or song editor in any way. Early access is expected to go for at least a year and is being used to finish the story and everything else extra added to the game, the 2-player mode being fully implemented, and any additional mechanics being added. It also includes the completion of the level editor and an added in-game level editor tutorial. It definitely seems like they're leaning heavily into their editor to provide future longevity to their game, and I think that direction is a great decision. The main question in my mind of whether or not you should buy it comes down to if the idea of the game's main mechanic appeals to you. It is definitely a Rhythm Heaven-esque mechanic, and sometimes results in feeling like the game is more about prediction than timing, even though that element is obviously there and everything is synced up to music. If you're a fan of these compartmentalized mechanics being pushed to their limit, you will 100% find enjoyment in Rhythm Doctor, either through the game's mechanic or its surprisingly well-told story. As a fan of Rhythm Heaven myself, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Rhythm Doctor, and it will continuously surprise you as you play through and enjoy what seems to be like a very innocent indie rhythm game on the outside. I would say that if this gimmick appeals to you at all, you would not be disappointed to pick this game up either now or down the line when the full main game is finished. Rhythm Doctor is a great rhythm game from 7th Beat, and people who enjoy non-traditional rhythm games will find a lot to love here. With some support down the line and improved custom song support, this game will surely contend with some of the best home rhythm games available to date. Thanks for watching. Check out my Twitter and my Twitch, links are in the description. You can also check out my Patreon if you want to support my content. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.